Greetings and welcome everybody to the Jane Mackenzie Quantum Holistic Medical Center event on a Tuesday where we talk about quantum information, holistic health medical centers, and the way forward, the new paradigm. It's for many years now I've been talking about the paradigm shift, and I like to think that it's here, but I think that it's still coming as well. So many instances you get the early adopter group of people, so they are in the quantum medical paradigm at the moment, and the rest of the people will catch up. But quantum medicine is definitely the leading medical focus at the moment, and the way forward. And it's enhanced by the quantum devices that we use, the software that we use, the world's largest medical software platform, and the products from the 365 Healthy by Choice stable, which include many products which fuel the mood, make us feel happy, and bring in compassion. And we can only really feel compassion if we've removed the toxins out of our body. That would be emotional toxins, physical toxins, neurological toxins, and indeed spiritual toxins. So the 365 Healthy by Choice products work hand in hand with the quantum medical software. And I'm presenting to you tonight on compassion. Health and healthcare is a basic human right. And I've got a beautiful video to show you by Dr. Patch Adams, and to show you how he set up a whole lot of quantum medical centers. And I would love to hear your views on his medical centers, which were based on compassion and humor and comedy. And he's a medical doctor. To follow compassion, one has to get into the shoes of the client. There's no question about it. You can never be completely in the shoes of the client, but you need to start relating. And unless the therapist can do that, they're not going to really, reach the level of the client. And therefore, your healing will not be as effective as it could be ultimately. So, I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm talking out of the Immune Quantum Diploma Medical board certified qualification that I have, and speaking to you about basically kindness. So kindness is what everybody wants, and it just brings a smile to my face, because there's a one client that sends me about upward of 10 texts a day, asking me almost as basic question of is, I've got these 2 tablespoons, which tablespoon should I use to measure the microbiome reset out of? And, I've let it go, and I'm getting myself into the shoes of this client. And then I said eventually, look, they wanted to know dosage, and I said, well, that dosage is actually on the quantum webinar that I gave on DMS on Thursday night, and it's also in your notes. And I left it like that, and then I got the message back, I'm sorry if I irritated you or I irritate you. I just want a little bit of Jane love. So that was a very sweet way of saying to me, I just need some compassion. And most people do need this. And, it's all very well explaining what's wrong, what the disease is, what the risk factors are, what the nutrients are that are necessary to heal people. But at the end of the day, they want to feel that love. And in the day and age that we're living in right now, with social networking as it is, with metaverse on our doorstep, everything becoming alienated, and people, not socializing as much as usual, and really communicating. I think that when they come to see a therapist, they really are looking for that compassion, that understanding. And in any event, if I don't do that, I can't really treat the emotions. The information doesn't come through from the field. That's the universal field. So in order to really make a massive impact on somebody's healing process and emotional release, one has to get right in there. And you know what? Somebody's emotional state is related to most people. So you will find that it's related. Even if you study Ho'oponopono, anything like that, they'll always tell you that, you know, your patient brings something to you that you resonate with, something that's in your DNA. And this is so true. So I just want to, you know, open up with that statement. And I'm going to show you the video now, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll talk about some foods that have a mood enhancing effect, but naturally. So let's over to Pat Adams, and he's a doctor in the US, and let's have a look at his beautiful center.
Before I start, I like to tell everybody I answer all my mail. I've never used a computer. I can't get to our website. I'm sure you can, patchadams.org. There's an address. I write 400 to 600 longhand letters a month. I am your friend. If I can help you in any way, I invite your correspondence. Health and health care are a human right for all people. I entered medical school in 1967 to use it as a vehicle for social change. I was a whole systems thinker. What I wanted to do was to create a hospital that addressed every single problem of healthcare delivery in one model. When I graduated in 71, no one gave us a hospital, so 20 adults, 3 of us physicians, and our children moved into a large 6-bedroom house and said we were a hospital. We were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for all manner of medical problems from birth to death. In the 12-year pilot, we had 500 to 1,000 people in our home each month with 5 to 50 overnight guests a night. Never in our 40-year history have we charged money for anything. In fact, we wanted to eliminate the idea of debt in the medical interaction. We never wanted people to think they owed something. We wanted them to be excited that they belonged to something called community. Our ideal patient was somebody who wanted to create a deep personal friendship with us. We have never had anything to do with third-party reimbursement. I've never seen an insurance form. We never heard anyone say anything nice about an insurance company. We've never carried malpractice insurance because we know we are imperfect. We can always promise care. We can never promise cure. We need the right to make a mistake. As a family doctor, I knew I wanted to know my patients, so my first interview with an adult patient is 4 hours long. I ask every question sensitive to life. I visited their home. And what I found out was that less than 3% of the adult population I saw did not have self-esteem. Less than 5% had any idea what a day-to-day vitality for life was about. What we just heard about health, practically no one actually was proactive for their health. And that's why from our very beginning we integrated medicine with performing arts, arts and crafts, agriculture, nature, education, recreation, and social service. In a way, we use their disease as a gimmick to get them into a university of human culture. We were teaching love, joy, humor, passion, hope, wonder, curiosity, creativity, intimacy, shared efforts with people. We've been the only hospital to integrate all the healing arts. When we started, it was against the law. Our law is what do the patients need. So from our very beginning, everything you've ever heard of as complementary care, we have been involved in. We weren't given a single donation in those first 12 years, and no one gave us a donation of any kind, and so we worked outside jobs to pay to practice medicine. For 40 years, I have paid to be a doctor. And I say that without any sense of sacrifice or long and hard journey. Rather, the unencumbered practice of care is an ecstatic experience worth paying to do. We also never had anything resembling privacy. There was never, in any course of the day, anything resembling privacy. And yet our first 9 years, no staff person left. And this was, in a way, what the Hollywood movie picked up on, and that is that we were the first silly hospital in history. We were silly to live with and silly to die with. If you only have a week to live, I'm your man. We also never disliked a patient enough to give them a psychiatric medication. We were interested in exploring non-pharmaceutical mental health. And 3,000 of our 15,000 patients that came through our home had profound mental illness, and we never gave any medication. After 12 years, we realized that it was more important for us to build a model hospital than to do the cute frontier work that we were doing, and that in order to do that, having refused publicity before this, we realized that this country never rewards intelligence, it rewards fame. And so I agreed to become famous in hopes that that would build our hospital. We had such a difficult time closing. We loved the practice of medicine. I learned to live on very little sleep. I learned the thrill of loving people. To give you an idea, you're wondering, well, what the hell did he do with schizophrenia? There were times I held him in my arms for 10 hours, saying I love you, and also goofing, playing. It was like a cauldron of exploration the entire time. How does one get a person interested in exercise or diet, but much more importantly, intimacy, human love, since we found that most people were lonely? In fact, the normal American that we saw didn't like themselves, didn't like their marriage, and didn't like their job, and none of those were reasons they came to us. So we closed our doors, knowing that we couldn't tell a nation with so many people who couldn't get care. And as we've heard, even if you could afford care, you can't get the kind of care that we give. And so we went public, closed our doors, and to tell you the truth, I thought we would be built in 4 years, that I knew the need when I was in medical school, and I thought people would say, wow, this is an interesting project. Let's fund it and see what happens. So we went public. I got famous. I started to lecture. I've been on the road now for 27 years in 70 countries, most of that time 300 days a year. I've lectured at over 90 of our medical schools, many of them many times, medical schools in 70 countries. I correspond with medical personnel in 120 countries. Nowhere are hospitals happy in the world. Medical students are hugely dissatisfied. If I go to a country to speak, 6,000 students show up. They would love a joyful, sweet practice of medicine. All over the world, physicians are rude. There is a hierarchy. All over the world, there is a deep sadness that you don't have enough time with patients. That it was so much of a mash in this work for healthcare reform to think that somehow if we paid for everything, we would have good healthcare delivery or health delivery. And all this time, I thought that by having good ideas, we would be funded. You understand, we've eliminated 90% of the cost of healthcare. For example, at our hospital, the cleaning person and the surgeon make the same salary, $300 a month. And you may think only nuts would apply. Thousands of doctors and nurses apply every year to work for $300 a month. Why? I like to think of it as the gradient of working for money or working for love, that people will trade several $1 million a year as a surgeon for $3,600 to serve humanity. They also have added the component of really being concerned with the future of humanity and knowing that we need another way of living if we're to survive as a species. And during our 40 years, the environmental movement obviously became very important, differently important. And so we are a communal eco-village project. The permanent staff will live at our hospital. In these travels, we've connected with projects all over the world. I started to take what we call clown trips all over the world. We've done that literally in 3 war zones and countless refugee camps. And in a way, it's our education to teach compassion, because we found out that no medical school in the world teaches compassion as an embedded course, that from the first day until graduation, that it is clear that the practice of medicine is the practice of compassion with whatever humble tools and knowledge that you have to help another person. So, particularly since the film promised to build our hospital. None of the profits from the film ever came to us. And so basically 40 years into this work, we are still trying to build our hospital. We have 310 acres in Pocahontas County, West Virginia, and we have an unlimited number of doctors and nurses and personnel ready to work there. We wanted to go to the poorest state. A very exciting thing is 2 weeks ago, woo, we broke ground, and we are now starting to build. And the nice thing about it taking so long is that imagine if you had 40 years to think about design, 40 years to think about what your ideal practice is, not what you'll get by with. And so the intelligence of the design is so much sweeter than it was at the beginning of this work. And we've also found ways to make it so much cheaper, again, through creating an economic system that's based on friendship and shared skills and these sorts of things. Another very exciting thing in our work is that by being involved in medical students from all over the world and seeing the agony of their experience in medical school, of it not being what they dreamed it would be in care, that we have been challenging medical schools for 30 years all over the world to create an embedded course in compassion. And last month, University of Peru, Cayetano Heredia has agreed to let us, what we're going to do is study what that means, compassion, in the practice of medicine. And very soon on our website, you will see the papers going up, the things that the students in this medical school will explore for 1 year. And then we will collectively, because we didn't want to come in as the old fart doctors who thought we knew what to do. We wanted to work with medical students. And an exciting thing is that because we're involved with medical students all over the world, we're inviting medical students all over the world to form groups within their own school for 1 year to study the things that you, again, will see on our website, to then collectively create a syllabus for the embedding of compassion as what the practice of medicine is. So that, all this in the last month, it's kind of thrilling to age, isn't it? I did get health insurance for the first time in May, thanks to your tax dollars. I turned 65, so I don't know if I really feel covered. But I have been one of those people who have lived healthy. However nice and wonderful and healthy I was at 30, it's nothing like my health is at 65. And so we've got to start giving aging a really good vibration. I was very interested in what was said about the teaching of health. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, our patient said, "Cut the crap, doc, give me a pill." That was a normal patient that they actually didn't want. And so we tricked them by having large dances 3 times a week. I'm not exercising, I'm having fun. And we would trick them in so many ways. I don't really have time to go into those ways, but they came and stayed in our home, so they had to eat the food we prepared. And there was a constant exposure. What I required of our staff is I wanted a staff, permanent staff, that were happy, funny, loving, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful. Those were the degrees that I wanted them to bring, so that would be the context for both the caregiver and the patient and the families, because for us, the health of the caregiver is as important as the health of the patient. And so we literally had a huge atmosphere of tenderness and sweetness at all times. And I'm thrilled to say my sons, who are 34 and 23, they work with me. My brother works with me. It's a lot of nepotism going on. And that a lot of the people have been involved with us for a huge amount of time. I've never had any discouragement, not for 1 second. People have said, has it been hard? Hard would have been working in the American system. In my medical school, 90% of the attendings that I saw as a student were rude and arrogant. And my mother taught me never, that was about the worst thing a human could be. And I couldn't believe how everyone was silent about it. Hospitals have asked me and said, what can we do about our rude, arrogant doctors? I say, just have them, either give them a large financial punishment Or have them wear a sign, "I am a rude doctor," and see if that doesn't affect change somehow. That nothing has been hard about this journey. It has been a thrill to practice medicine. I never dreamed that we would be involved all over the world. We're active in 40 countries. 6 years ago, we found 5-year-olds in the Peruvian Amazon with gonorrhea, and we have a lifetime project there. We decided 6 years ago, and just in this August, we had 135 people from 13 countries, a number of medical students, and we are using Paulo Freire's work and trying to understand how to help a society move from child sexual slavery. If you're not aware of the issue, it's a $15 billion a year industry, 20 to 50 million men a day. We've been very concerned about orphan work. We've been involved in Russia for 26 years, and we now take care of 400 orphans in Moscow and St. Petersburg. That I own nothing. I have no safety net, no life insurance or health insurance until Medicare. I literally have no property. Everything I make goes directly to our work, and I feel like the richest person on the planet. I invite you to help me finish building the hospital. I invite you, if you want to have a language for what we're doing, go to our website, to the idea section, and read Susan Parenti's 2 papers, and Think Mentally, for example, and read mine. Because we're just an example. One of the things that has been thrilling to go all over the world is that, boink, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Wow. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's Dr. Pat Adams, and he was a mental patient who went and studied to be a doctor, medical doctor, and he has moved and shifted the paradigm to what you've just read and what you've just heard, and on a much, much higher level of healing. The words he uses are powerful. He's using words like love, joy, passion, truth, happiness, and shared efforts and creativity. And this is where it's not so much as the therapist, the caregiver is on a pedestal, prescribing, recommending to patients. No, you have clients, we have friends. We are co-creating health. And this is what I'm really, really focusing on 365 Healthy by Choice. There is no prescription. I'm not responsible for people's health. They are responsible. I hand the power to them, empower them by raising awareness, and showing them what needs to be surrendered to. And this is a winning formula. The most important thing always is to determine what does this patient need, and from there the discussion can open up. And when you do that, the information floods through. Your genuineness, your sincerity, your real desire to perceive what's going on in that patient's mind, body, emotion, spirit, understanding their suffering, is when you're able to heal. Otherwise, it becomes a placation. And the example I told you in the beginning about somebody just needing a bit of Jane love. And this is true. Most people are walking around needing a little bit of love in some way or another. We have created quite a harsh world out there for ourselves. And, the human aspect is lost. The human love has been lost. The hugging, the feeling of as he spoke about, intimacy, human intimacy, respect for people, respect for their suffering. And I think if the therapist can do this, you are well on your way to healing. And people will open up more and share more, and the healing is spontaneous, in a heartbeat. The universe comes in and helps you. It's incredible. It's every time. So, we're done and dusted with these long, involved processes to heal emotions and neurological repair and so on. It's quick, and it's light. It's not as heavy as so on. And actually, most of the time, people have developed a construct of false comfort, false sense of comfort that they live in, and it's on a and from a negative point of view. So you therefore experience negative experiences. If you're of the opinion, which I know, is that you're coming in from existence with happiness, fulfillment, freedom, then you will have those kind of experiences. But if you program yourself through this human construct that you put together, and bearing in mind, when we incarnate on the earth, we come flat bang, smack into the genetics of the ancestors, the epigenetics as they've developed. And then we've got a decision to make. How are we going to navigate this? Happily or sadly? Unfortunately, 99% of the people choose the sad way, and therefore you choose to experience unhappy experiences. If we chose happiness, we would then experience happy experiences. And I've got personal experience of this. And this is what happens. So we got to change the mindset, change the frame, change the paradigm. Because if we are happy, free individuals, then we need to look for those kind of experiences and not the other. Give up what's not serving us. And this is where we really get into detail with people when we look at, emotional clearing, neurological repair, etc. So the respect is of very, very of utmost importance. And being able to perceive people suffering. I'm doing my PhD, by the way, my doctorate in a holistic framework for a well-being, and all the facets that are need to be taken into consideration in order to live happy, free, fulfilled lives. And we will get there as humans, but individually first, and then we can have the shared values and the shared efforts. Needs to come with sort of the individual first of all. So I'm really enjoying this, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of this with you in time to come, quite soon actually, because I think if we really examine the current biomedical model, it's not really serving us anymore, and something needs to happen. And this happened actually in the early 1990s, the Flexner reports. Dr. Flexner, who left Europe and went to the States, closed down every single medical center that had anything to do with anything natural, and they called it alternative. Whereas, in fact, the current modern-day medicine is alternative, because the natural is natural. It's not alternative. So there's nothing alternative that I do. I do natural work with natural products, natural foods. So they closed them all down, and that became the new biomedical model. And, it's been around now for just over 100 years, and we can ask ourselves whether it is serving us. Are more people ill? Are some people ill but symptom-free? How many people are well? And that's really my quest, is to create well-beings. And there are various variables that are associated with this, and that's in my doctorate. So I'll share more of that as soon as that's out. And interesting also with the Patch Adams video is talking about not needing medical insurance, because he's not making any claims. He needs to be able to make mistakes, and good. I'm just getting some good feedback there on the video. This video, I must tell you, had a extremely marked effect on me and my approach as somebody who can assist people with their healing and so on. So, but most importantly, I'm not the one doing the work. I will be a catalyst. I co-create your health with you. I educate you. You need to heal you. You're the physician, heal thyself. That's Hippocrates. So many people are running out there getting information from this shaman, this person, that person, people all over the place, and none of it. People are going for psychedelic journeys. You own none of it. None of it's yours. You have to make it yours. You have to be centered, fully conscious state. And the information is there. The answers are within. Please stop looking externally. You are going to get confused. Externally, you will be in your upper brain, your observer brain, the emotional brain. We need to sink down through the heart into the gut brain, and that is where we're going to make decisions. That is where we will get get the truth. Breathing will bring us the truth. Breathing will balance the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. It will settle us so that we can hear, feel, see, taste, smell the truth. The extrasensory perceptions. The breath is all important. It's a primary nutrient. Interestingly, too, Patch Adams works for not for money but for love. And if that is your primary aim, everything emanating from there is going to spontaneously heal and work positively for you. If your goal is money, you're going to bear the consequences of that, because money can't be your God. It can't be your goal. And believe you me, I've sat in top financial meetings around the world, 2,500 people at a time. And the people delivering these talks are far from healthy and happy. They have an insatiable addiction for money, and no amount is enough. And it's this insatiable drive. And I've seen what their bodies look like. I've had them on my quantum software. I know. I especially went to sit and see and work out, who these animals are. So, as you saw with Patch Adams, he manifested. There was always enough. He basically living from hand to mouth anyway. There's always enough. It will always be provided. We've got to get into this new paradigm and this new way of thinking and living and operating, because the universe will provide for you. There's an abundance, an inexhaustible amount of abundance. The website for Patch Adams, you just go and Google Dr. Patch Adams and you'll get there. So what he's saying is we need another way of living to survive as a human species, and that's it. We do. What do you think these diseases, these pandemics, these lockdowns, these load sheddings are all about? For us to sit quietly and go internal and work out a creative way, a new way of living to survive as a human species. This paradigm, the financial paradigm, the academic paradigm, the health paradigm, even if you want the spiritual paradigm that you've been following, the world paradigm, the food and ecology paradigm, the home life, the family life. These paradigms are finished. We've got to renew. And the greater the chaos, the more the repatterning, and the more we're going to survive as humans. We have to understand the importance of the chaos. We need chaos to repattern, to move into the next level, to survive as a human species. Any species needs chaos. Any species needs to repattern. Then in fractal development, there's no repetition. There's no repetition that's the same. It's always evolving. Our DNA is always evolving. Every breath we take, the cosmic dust we breathe in is changing our DNA, whether we like it or not. So we can't be fixed and stuck in the old. And furthermore, we can't be caged in by synthetic medicine, toxic synthetic medicine, believing that we're well, but we're just symptom-free. We're still ill, and we know it. We need life force. We need energy. We need prana. We need chi. You do an hour of yoga. You do nostril breathing. You do go for a walk, a run, your exercises. The life force is flowing through you. You have your fruit smoothie with your nuts or your seeds. You have your organic salads. You have your raw food. You're loaded with life force. You're loaded with energy. And from that point of view, you can be happy. You can share your happiness. But if you're eating old 3 days old food that's all brown, I'm telling you, not too many people are going to be excited by your energy field. So we are a battery. We have to charge our battery and emanate the field, the energy. That's who we are. We're energy batteries. We're electromagnetics. We need gold, silver, copper, nickel. We need the almost gold. We need microorganisms. The microorganisms are living with us. They're evolving our DNA for us. 90% of our DNA is microbial. In fact, 99% of our DNA is microbial. 90% of me is a microbe, bacterial, fungal, in nature. So we have to bring our friends around and surround ourselves with things that are bringing us energy. It's about energy. It's about life force. And you saw with Patch Adams, he's got it. He's got life force. And he learned it. He was a mental patient. And he went and studied and revolutionized modern medicine, what we called modern medicine. And I refer to Rudolf Steiner here as well, who talks about illness being a gift. And I say that every single time to the people when we're doing the emotional clearing. What gift can you isolate out of this experience? It's not about who did it. It's about what did you gain? If we don't learn what we gained, we're going to encourage another negative experience and another one, and they get worse and worse and worse until we stand up and learn. And we want to never repeat that again. Let's learn the gift. Let's learn the life lesson. Make that soul happy. That soul that pitched often in self-sacrifice to teach you. Thank them. Honor them. Love them unconditionally. They came to teach you. And if people can understand this, it's a game over. It's totally game over. The face shifts immediately. We use all the EMDR techniques, etc., etc. We use the quantum software at the same time. We use the unconscious choice. We need to step back into, and when I say we, it's one finger forward, three back at me. Me too. I'm also in the classroom. Get into the happy, fulfilled, and free state, and let's attract those experiences. That's a challenge. And most times this suffering is ancestral. It's inherited. As I said, we collide with this genetic pool, all the epigenetics, and it's depression, it's rejection, abandonment, hopeless despair, lack of trust, etc., etc. Feelings about males or females, and we live this construct. No, let's get rid of it. It doesn't serve us anymore. And we here today have got a frequency on the earth here to shift immediately, like that. Before it would take weeks and months and we're still on the same issue. No ways. We're here to shift. What I pride myself in is taking the patient's health to heart. That is compassion. And my freedom is your freedom is mine. So we need to work together. And we have a right to live a happy, fulfilled, and free life. Let's have a look at some of the products that we have that will help us elevate our mood, be happy and free and full of life force. These are just a few that I've put together from the 365 Healthy by Choice table to share with you. So here we're talking about the almost gold, and I've already alluded to the almost gold. This is an alchemical product, all right? This product is salt to gold, silver, copper, nickel, iridium, palladium, osmium, ruthenium, platinum, all the platinum precious metal minerals. The frequency on an Armstrong scale is 23,000. And when you consume this product, you will feel an immediate sense of calm. It's a subtle energy. Imagination, intuition, inspiration. Crosses the blood-brain barrier immediately. The gold is the world's most effective detoxifying metal mineral on the planet, gold. It cleans up like this, alchemically. All right. So when you're consuming something like this, you're raising your energy. You're going to be happy. Happiness is a state, but you need a vibration for it. We can't hold on to it because as we grow, we're always going through our trials and our tribulations because we're learning the chaos, the repatterning, the chaos, the repatterning. All right. But we can create a constant central point for ourselves and keep getting into that central point. I think I talked about this last week. These kind of products help us do that. They center us. Be aware of reacting. Be aware of judging. We need to foster a state of non-judgmental awareness, non-reactance. It is what it is. And focus on you and what you're doing. It's not out there. It's not about out there what people can teach you. The information is here. Get into your central point and hear what needs to be. You need to hear. See what you need to see. Okay. Take your power. You are the physician. Physician, heal thyself. And you know it. Most people that walk in know it already. So it's just an awakening, a reminding, and surrendering to the old. Other important product, the microbiome reset, and I've talked about this many, many, many times as well. There's an 80 there. There's actually close to 120 live, beneficial bacterial, funguses, and yeasts, all in the friendly form, all which we need to ward off infection, to boost our immunity, to create happiness. Without these friends, when my children were small, they went to school and they were going to school. I would say to them, "Here are your friends," and I would give them their little glass of water with the probiotics in it. Okay, we need them. We need them for our intelligence. We need them to evolve as humans. People who have low microbial flora, low effective microorganisms in their body, are depressed. They've got no serotonin. The organisms produce the serotonin, the happy hormones, the dopamine, the GABA, the PEA. Can't live without this. Anyone who comes in is slightly off balance. They need probiotics, and you need a good one. 120 live strains. You can only get maximum 12 in the fridge. Most of them have got 1 or 2. What's the use of that? What's the use of that? It's like feeding your spinach one nutrient. We need an array. And this isn't the only place to get the microorganisms. There's sauerkraut, there's kefir, there's miso, there's idli, just to mention a few. Okay, so that's very important. The microbiome reset. Let me see what order I had here. Right, the flaxseed oil. All right, the highest life force oil on the planet. Okay, it's not the same. It's not the same as olive oil. It's not the same as ava oil. It's not the same as sesame oil. Flaxseed oil creates a membrane potential, an electrical membrane potential at the cell membrane, encouraging the transfer of oxygen and food into the cell. Without it, you're not going to get the food through. We've got a double phospholipid layer on the cell membrane. This one feeds it. It also cleans the dirt out of the old cell membranes and the nervous system and the blood and all sorts. It's also got the omegas in the exact ratio of the human requirements. It lines the lungs, it lines the gut, it lines the reproductive system, enabling them to conduct the mucous membrane to conduct its function. We need flaxseed oil. We will never heat it cold pressed. It's too sacred to heat. I don't even put this in my smoothie. I will fold it in afterwards. This is liquid gold. And I'm intensely passionate about the products in the 365 Healthy by Choice range because they've come to me through my own happiness, my own endeavors, my own quest to bring this kind of information through to the world. So bear with me, okay? Let's see what other products we have here all of them are amazing. There are not too many that we can avoid. The cell oxygen and the DMSO. Well, those, I wax lyrical about these products, because they just are a godsend, an absolute godsend. You want to see somebody sleep properly and remove the anxiety, you put them on oxygen, the normal oxygen that we're breathing. even less of a voltage. So normal oxygen breath is 1.3 volts. This is 0.95 of a volt. This little oxygen that gets made in our body. And you want to see the happy faces, the contented faces, the streamlined bodies that walk in. It's astounding. Absolutely astounding. There are no words. I'm speechless most of the time, because I've created a space where we've got rid of the negative, the old thoughts, the old patterns. This is quantum medicine. This is the paradigm shift. Don't hold on to what's not paying rent. Surrender to what's not serving you, and be ruthless about it. Draw a line in the sand, no more. And I don't want to hear excuses, because then you're not passionate. Then you haven't committed to yourself. You don't love yourself enough, for example. The DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. Those of you who listened last Thursday evening to my live webinar, if you didn't, I urge you to go. It's on the YouTube, the Jane Mackenzie YouTube channel. Learn all about DMSO. Go to my website, search DMSO and read for yourself. This is tree sap. It's levitational. It's got ormus in it. All my products have got ormus in it. Every single label's got ormus gold on it, because every product has got ormus gold, because it's all got life force. And that's what this is about. It's about our energy. Energy is our currency. So these products are critical to happiness and to well-being. We've done them. Then I'm going to come across some of these foods here. The stress defense shield, over 30 nutrients. The brain fuel, over 30 nutrients. And the stem cells, which are inside the stress defense shield anyway. So the stress defense shield and the brain fuel are put together. How do I know this? Because I gravitate towards it. I want life force in me. All right. I don't want dull force. Who would want that? Because it makes me feel negative. If I eat wheat, not that I've had wheat for a very long time, but I remember I would wake up at 3 a.m. and the world was closing in on me. My business was closing. Everything was dreadful. And I played it back and I'd eaten wheat. What for? I don't have time for that. Those of you that know me, my outlook is huge. Because I've got a quest, I've got a mission, I'm doing things, and I'm helping people. And these formulations are going to do it for you. They're going to bring your memory back. They're going to detoxify you. They're going to nourish your cells together with everything we've spoken about. I mean, there's over 30 nutrients. I can read you some. It's in a raw cacao base. Now, cacao, apart from having the highest magnesium content of any plant on the planet, that's why we love chocolate, because it relaxes us, the magnesium. But we don't want shop chocolate because it's full of rancid oil and sugar. So we make our own with cacao butter and coconuts and a little bit of honey and some nuts and goji berries and things. You can use this as the powder to put in your homemade chocolates. But when you look at what is in here, the raw cacao, the hemp seed protein, maca powder, pomegranates, blue-green algae, chlorella, spirulina, kelp, reishi mushroom, shiitake, maitake, cordyceps, chaga, lion's mane mushrooms, Siberian ginseng, ashwagandha, astragalus, adaptogens, shatavari, foti, moringa, baobab, schizandra berry, holy basil, stinging nettle, yarrow, dandelion, cat's claw. Those are all to balance the organs and also to detox. Tahibo, powerful antibacterial, antifungal. Passion flower, chamomile flower, aromatase inhibitors, that's the plastic xenoestrogens, acai berry, Himalayan salt. You put that all in one and you get potentiation. Potentiation means 1 + 1 is 3, 3 + 3 is 9. Imagine 30 + 30. Somebody out there can calculate that potentiation. It's huge. It multiplies. And you take your flaxseed oil and your almost gold and your microbiome reset, and you take your oxygen, and we bath in the oxygen, and we foot soak in the oxygen, and we take the DMS. So it increases the wettability of the water. We hydrate it better. And suddenly everything, all the lights are on. And we can be compassionate, and we can be happy, and we can share, and we can live our purpose. And we can deal with chaos because we know why it's there, and we can know we need to repattern. What do I need to do? When lockdown hit, the first thing that came to my mind is, what do I need to do? What is this saying to me? What is my message? And I ran a 24-hour non-stop live webinar, global, as a result of that. Now, that kind of life force, that kind of energy doesn't come out of nowhere. So what I'm asking you is to consider your current state of happiness, your current state of ability to be compassionate to other people, to respect, to be human, to bring about understanding amongst people, so that we can all attain a much higher level. And that's really what today's been all about. And, quite a bit to think about, I'm sure, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And it's on a much higher level, what we're talking about now. We're not talking about everyday things. And it's not also a destination, it's a journey along life's continuum. So we want to keep that happy, fulfilled, free state that we entered into this earthly realm. Keep it. Have happy experiences, fulfilled experiences, free experiences. And leave repatterned on a much higher level. And those minerals of ours that built us from the earth will return to the earth and reinvigorate the earth for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So let's not be the ancestors of an endangered species. Let's change the legacy that we leave our children and our children's children. See you next week.